First time with this V plow. So with all that being said, by the time the first snowfall hit, I hadn't wired the truck for the V plow yet. That was a mistake. Like bonus feature that I didn't even know about with these plows. All right, if you own a 3-plug Fisher, like Storm Guard series plow, the older Fisher 3-plug, this video is for you. So earlier this winter, I had a pretty big problem where I was plowing. I had a straight blade and the plow pump motor burnt up halfway through our first snowfall. I think I only had 12, 13 driveways done, and the plow stopped working, which that was a big problem. So then I called the local dealer and found out they were on vacation hunting. So normally I could get these kind of parts in a day or the same day, and that wasn't an option this time. So I put a post on Facebook, good old Facebook, and luckily I found someone in the town next door that had one of these motors sitting right on their shelf. So I went and got that, put it back in. Matter of probably 3.5 hours of time went by between diagnosing it, finding the part, putting it in, get back up and running. Well, anyway, that ended up making it so I was out plowing driveways until about 3 in the morning, and the snow stopped around 11:30 a.m. So yeah, I was real late getting to everybody. That's just not a good way to do it. So I knew I had a problem and I had to fix it. And buying another truck with another driver, that's just not an option right now for driveways. They're hard to plow. It's really easy to make a lot of mistakes, tear up people's yards and whatever. It's just asking for trouble. So my solution to that problem, and I knew this going into this winter, but I just hadn't done it soon enough. I bought a V plow. I wanted a V plow. I kind of knew I needed a V plow, and it's a 3-plug Fisher Easy V. So it's the same vintage as my straight blade. So I've never seen this video on YouTube, this exact video. I've seen similar ones that are kind of get the point across, but not really. So I hope this helps out somebody. Anyway, this is what you need to run a Easy V on one truck. So you can run a straight blade, which is what my truck had on it originally, or in the same exact day or just minutes, basically, you can switch over and run a Fisher Easy V plow. And this is how I did it. So the first thing, if you have 3-plug Fisher wiring in your truck already, the first step is you have to switch out the Fisher control harness on the truck side. And I think it goes from I think it's a 7-pin is what's in there for a straight blade, and you need to change it over to a 10-pin, which is old, and it was only used in this generation of plows. Pretty short run, 3 or 4 years, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm just guessing. The adapter is, part number is 56496. So these parts that I just listed off, those are a little bit pricey, not gonna lie. They aren't cheap. The stuff is all old, and I'm buying direct through Fisher. This is OEM, this is not aftermarket. This is right from a Fisher dealer, local to me. So I should have said, to really make this a good option, you really gotta hunt Marketplace or Craigslist and find a cheap, good, easy V. Some people have them on there for 15, 16, 1700 bucks and up. I don't think they're worth that much. But then if you watch and find them early season or at the end of the winter, you can pick these up 4, 5, 600 bucks pretty frequently. I've seen quite a few of them on there. The one I bought was in September or October, early October anyway. And I saw other ones after that. So that's the most important thing, is get one cheap, because if you don't, you could end up putting a lot of money into one of these plows and it may not be worth it. So it's worked for me, but just keep that in mind. So anyway, the Fisher part number for the vehicle side is 26346, and that's just one harness. It literally takes like 5 minutes, 10 minutes to unplug it and swap it out. The rest of the wiring for your truck, it all stays in there. Real easy swap. Then the other thing you need, and this is not possible without this piece if you want to run a straight blade or a V plow, and this is all that you need to do that. This is the adapter. You can see on this side, it's got the pins and a round style plug, and this side is just your conventional plug for the control, the control harness that you previously had. So why did I need a V plow? The biggest reason for me was to have a spare plow, and I didn't want to just have another straight blade because why? I already got one. And if you're gonna have a spare, you might as well have something better or a little bit different, right? So I bought the V plow, and the big feature that I wanted to use and why I liked it is I got some really steep driveways that I plow, up a hill, and you can put the plow in V, fold the wings all the way back to the truck, and you can kind of go up a steep driveway a lot easier, a lot less wear and tear on the truck and the transmission. And when it's heavy and wet, I've had driveways where I can't even make it up first attempt with the straight blade because you're just pushing too much weight and you don't have enough traction. So with the V plow, it's going to be huge, where you can just kind of just cut right through the snow all the way up the driveway. The first pass is always the hardest, and then after that you can just plow it normal. So that was a huge thing for me, and that's why I wanted it. And the other thing, like I said, is just to have a spare, so that if one of the plows has a problem, I always got a backup. And I do have another truck. It's an F450, and we really only use that for the bigger parking lots, small businesses, stuff like that. So that truck's really not suitable for plowing driveways. It's just too big and too wide. It can be done, but it's really not the best option. So, but I did actually end up running my straight blade on the 450 as a better option, because I have a 9-foot Fisher MC, which is pretty much a highway and road plow. It's a super heavy plow. If you go and plow stuff and it digs into the dirt like you can't even imagine, you want to break something, plow dirt with an MC. It's rough. So we ended up running the Storm Guard 9 on that truck this winter for the last storm, and it worked out great. So I'm still using both plows, and I still have an option where I got a backup. I really got two backups actually, because I could put the MC on the 450 and keep plowing with that truck, and then switch the straight blade back onto the Dodge at any time. So I got 3 plows, 2 trucks, and most important thing when you're plowing snow, is you got to have options, because something it's always going to break. So just wanted to add those details to this video. One like bonus feature that I didn't even know about with these plows is they're awesome for plowing dirt or like asphalt millings, driveways, or when you go off the driveway onto the lawn. These plows are actually awesome for that. For some reason, it seems like it doesn't dig in as easily as my straight blade. And on the dirt driveways, the straight blade can be a nightmare if it's not cold enough and everything's not frozen soft. It sucks. But the V Plow seemed to work even better than I expected. I thought it might have been okay, but I didn't know that it was going to be this much better or this good. It's great on dirt, easy on the lawns, on the edges of the driveways, etc. It's a little hidden benefit that I didn't even know. So the plow really only had two problems. One being the control harness on the plow side someone had a problem or mishap, pinched it, cut it off. I'm not sure what they did, but they wired in a different controller plug into the main harness, and then the wires weren't the same colors. I tried fixing it and it was a little bit better, but I still had functions that were totally wrong, and I just didn't have the time, or I couldn't really figure it out. It was too hard to trace the wires because of the way they're in the plug. So I bit the bullet and I went out and bought a new harness for the plow side, and that was, the part number for that's 26358, and that's the control harness to all the solenoids on the plow side, and that harness was $233. And then the only other issue the plow had was there's a little rubber flap that goes between where the two halves of the plow pivot, the V, and there's a little rubber, thick, almost like 3/4 inch rubber flap that goes between there, and that's to kind of catch the trail when you're plowing straight. The cutting edges don't go tight together like on the newer plows, so there's a gap there, and that rubber flap actually picks up that little trail, or you know, space between the two cutting edges. It picks up that snow, and so I had to buy that and put that on. That was only like $50, but that was it. After that, the lights worked, everything else worked on the plow, and like I said, the plow is in really good shape. So this is just what I have into it, and this is just showing you don't need a $4,000, $5,000 used Fleet Flex XV2 or something. I mean, those are awesome, and I will be buying one of those down the road, but I'm not making enough money plowing yet to really go out and buy a brand new plow. I can't wait till I do make enough money, and I will be buying new plows, but we're just not there yet, and I'm trying to get through the winter on a budget, and this is how much it all cost. So the harness was $536, and then the V Plow adapter that you need is about $32.65. Those are my local prices. Some people might get a little bit better price. Some people are more expensive. I don't know. These are just the closest people to me, so that's where I go. So that part of the process with tax and everything costs $604 total. So the controller that you need to run these plows, you need a regular standard, like the square box Fisher straight blade control. You need that, leave that in your truck. But then you also need the fish stick with a round 10-pin connector. That's required for an Easy V. So those fish stick handheld controllers, those can get pretty pricey. I see them all over the place between $250 and $650, and even up from there. So I got lucky. The plow I bought for $500 came with the handheld controller, so that really helped lower the cost. And that I mean, literally, that controller was worth $250. So I actually got a better deal on the plow than I even realized going into it. So if you find a plow and it doesn't come with that controller, you're gonna have to buy one on eBay or buy one somewhere, and they can be a little bit hard to find and expensive when you do find them, so keep that in mind. But a lot of people do sell the plows with the controller, at least. Maybe not the whole harness, but you can usually get the controller. So keep that in mind. First time with this V Plow. Absolutely love this thing. It is nice. Scrapes pretty good too, even though I was told it won't scrape for shit, but I'm actually impressed. It scrapes better than my straight blade. So yeah, it's snowing. It's gonna be a good night.